Well, 1981 was for sure a remarkable year for many people here in the room, for different reasons. Many of us probably were watching Dallas. Others probably were reading that having a collective goal, ensuring therapies and that treatments are becoming accessible for patients. But we are also assisting for many other things, many challenges. And it seems that maybe the future is not so bright for rare diseases. So we all know and are aware about the challenges that rare disease patients and their family members face during their journey. We are all aware that rare diseases are not prioritized in health budgets, for example. We also know that the timeline from regulatory approval to reimbursement varies across the countries. There are countries that in 1 year we have it all, others that takes more than 3 years. We also know that, one, most orphan medicinal products development focus on diseases areas where treatments already exist. Two, we also know that the orphan medicinal products development is not equally focused on adults and children. Three, we also know that orphan medicinal development benefits only a small number of people. And fourth, we also know that the orphan medicinal products development concentrates on diseases that are less common. Also, we also know that when a pharmaceutical company becomes interested in launching a medicine in the market, they will want to understand the local market opportunities. And we know that the number of patients in the countries is very important. Finally, the headlines that we are nowadays reading, they are not favorable for rare diseases because it's most of them about the high pricing of rare diseases medicines. When I was preparing this talk, I found this interesting document from the European Commission, Access to Medicinal Products, which I advise you all to read, because they have a focus on the rare disease community. And they say that 22% of people with rare diseases could not get, in 2019, the treatments they needed, and it was because they were not available for them. It also says that, for example, 94% of rare diseases don't have still a specific treatment. Altogether, this makes that organizations like Eurordis have a strong call to action nowadays and policy recommendations. They want to achieve 1,000 new therapies by 2030. And they also want that therapies are less expensive. So what will be the key to get and achieve these call to action and policy recommendations? Well, we should not forget what I told you at the beginning of this presentation. The resilience of those living with rare diseases, united with those that love people that live with rare diseases, like family members, for example, they can actually move mountains. Patient activism in research and drug development is here to stay. And along the years, we had many examples, not only in rare diseases, showing the power of patient groups when we talk about access to medicines. We, for example, have the example of HIV patient groups. But I have to say that access to treatments, it's a long journey and goes beyond the limits of regions and countries. United, we can definitely unlock the access to treatments. Patients and family members, they are key, but we need a united community with different stakeholders to make it happen. In this joint statement by EPFIA and Eurordis, you actually can read that patient access to orphan medicinal products across Europe remains imperfect, is not equal, and it is hugely delayed. Eurodis and EPFIA, they do a call to action where every stakeholder can have an important role. They also present some solutions that are actually some proposals that I advise you all to read because they are all very interesting. So the question now is, how can we, make a difference in improving access to medicines for the rare disease patients? I'm sure that each of us has a role, and each of us can be part of the solution. I don't know right now, because I don't know you, what you are going to do from now on to make a difference, but I can share in the final part of my talk what I have done to try to make a difference. As I told you, I'm a sibling of someone living with congenital disorders of glycosylation. When we received our diagnosis, I was already studying biology. I did a PhD in cell biology, and I spent 10 years as head of patient advocacy working in the pharmaceutical industry. In 2010, I have founded the Portuguese Association for CDG that later on became CDG in the Lies. What is CDG in the Lies? CDG in the Lies is a community-centric international research network that is leading research for CDG. Since 2016, we have published more than 30 articles, which are, of course, some results that are having impact in the lives of many people living with CDG. Sorry, I just wanted also to share that along these years, as patient advocate, as researcher, and as a person working in the pharmaceutical industry, I have realized that there were many challenges when stakeholders want to integrate the voice of the patient advocates in everything that they do. And 2 years ago, I have co-founded Humanized Solutions to make possible the integration and engagement of patient advocacy groups across different activities in the research and drug development. So our mission is to help stakeholders when they work with and for patients. We have a vision. Our vision is a future where patients and citizens have a meaningful voice and are integral partners in shaping the development and use of medicines. Our services, well, we basically work like a liaison between the patient groups and the different stakeholders in the healthcare. It can be researchers, medical doctors, pharmaceutical industry, policymakers, and so on. We have different kinds of services. We can do consultancy in setting up frameworks to secure the systematic involvement of patient groups in what our clients are doing. We also can help in clinical trial protocol design. We can also help in stakeholder mapping and engagement. We also can help in research design and creating lay materials, which is something that you know is very important. We also can do due diligence to help our clients setting up partnership plans with patient groups that are sustainable along the time. And we also can help at the level of ethics and also market access and so on. We can advise and tailor and implement social sciences and humanity methods. So we love to use participatory research methods to listen actively to the patient groups. We also can give research support. So, for instance, we are being solicited to participate in research consortiums where we can lead work package dedicated to patient and public involvement. Or we can also just execute tasks across the different work packages. We do a lot of education and training, coaching and mentoring in the field of patient and public involvement and engagement. And we help a lot with soft skills development. Here, I'm going to skip. This is an example of a case study where a company wanted to enter into different countries. They wanted to bring treatments to 5 different markets. And we basically have set up the strategy and implemented the activities that could allow our client to know better the market access processes and also to engage with different stakeholders. To finalize, I wanted to show you some benefits when we work with patient groups. Of course, when we listen systematically to the patient groups, we realize that they can give us lots of ideas to improve clinical trials, also to improve the communication around clinical trials. And this is very beneficial because it helps a lot to improve and accelerate recruitment in clinical trials. We also can learn a lot about existing best practices, existing work that the patient groups already have done, avoiding to duplicate efforts. We also can help in research design support, communication and dissemination, and so on, and so on. So to finalize, I want to share with you 5 wishes that we have at Humanized Solutions. 1, we aspire for a future where projects are undertaken with and for patient groups in a relationship that is equal and with mutual benefits. We also want to continue helping the different stakeholders, including the patient voice across the research and drug development. We want this to become a norm, and we want this to be a long-term relationship, exactly like it is with many other stakeholders. And we want to continue doing the different kind of activities that I told you before. At Humanized, we are all patient advocates. Patients are waiting, and there is no time to reinvent the wheel. So we want also to continue adapting already existing resources to integrate and elevate what are the patient needs and preferences in research and drug development. Finally, I wanted to tell you that we want to help in one thing as well, which is doing the right things, not just doing things right. We also hope to remove some complexity around the patient and public involvement and engagement, because as you can see in this slide, there are lots of complexities around guidances when we want to work with patient groups, also regulatory topics, and so on. I hope that with my talk, I show you that the development of clinical trials and access to treatments without the voice of people, patients, citizens, is like if we have this. Nothing about us without us. I want to say thanks to all heroes that do not wear a cape. I want to tell you that united, we can. Today is the Rare Disease Day, and I hope we all can reflect about many things around rare diseases, not only access to treatments. I would like to ask what we here in the room, can do for a more perfect, faster, and equitable access to treatments in rare diseases in countries like Estonia. And for that, I want to bring this sentence that John Kennedy one day has said. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. I took the freedom to change slightly this sentence, and I want to finish my presentation with this one. Ask not what your country can do for rare diseases. Ask what you can do for rare diseases. I want to acknowledge all the team for being so motivated and creative, because working with patient groups and different stakeholders represent plenty of challenges, and they are tremendously motivated. And please, I will spend 1 week in Tallinn. I would love to brainstorm with all of you about how can we do a brighter future for the rare disease community. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Do we have questions for Vanessa? Kas meil Vanessale küsimusi on? Võib julgelt käe püsti tõsta, meil on mikrofon olemas. If you want to, you can just raise your hand. Jah, me toome kohe mikrofoni ka. We'll give you the mic.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I still have one very precise question regarding availability of orphan drugs and clinical trials in small countries. What we should do internally to attract companies, for example, to register and to start reimbursement in a small country for one patient, for example. What are your suggestions?
Here, one of my suggestions is really to show to that companies that the different stakeholders in countries like Estonia are united, no matter the number of patients that we want to treat. So, of course, I don't know so well the context of Estonia, so that's why I decided to spend the full week here to get to know more. But it's very important that the different stakeholders, they are aligned, so that the medical doctors are working together with the patient community, with the different governmental entities to actually push that possibility, even if it is one patient. I mean, we are talking about almost human rights. I mean, access to treatments is a right. Access to care is a right. And even if it is one patient, is one life, that we can possibly change the course of the life of that person, and not only that person, the parents, the siblings, and so on. So here I would strongly suggest a union and coordination of efforts, not only, I mean, sometimes we see that one stakeholder goes to speak with the pharmaceutical industry to try to bring medicines to a certain country. I would suggest a strong community with the different representatives that go and speak together to speak with the pharmaceutical companies about the possibility to bring treatments.
Thank you. Yeah. As Vanessa said, she'll be here for the week. So if you have questions, nii et kui teil on küsimusi hiljem, võite siis Vanessa poole pöörduda. Thank you, Vanessa.